Sago, Skanako Ga, Niungatsam Shil Kwe Taha, Nii, Pocatello, Fort Hall, Idaho. Hello, relatives. My name is Adam Shill of the Feather, wishing you all peace this wonderful, beautiful evening. I'm from Fort Hall Reservation in Idaho, Fort Hall, Pocatello, and my mother's name is Brenda Shenandoah, and my father's name is Ramirez, and my mother's mother is Sharon Skinandor, and my mother's father is Joe Rodriguez, and my father's father is Adan Ramirez, and my father's mother is Corina Ramirez. And that's just a way that a lot of native tribes out here in the West, particularly, every tribe has its own way of introduction. And this is one of the ways I was taught to introduce myself in correspondence and relationship to our 7 generations. It's a way of honoring our 7 generations. Because without them, we simply wouldn't be here. And so I know this is an important subject for a lot of people because self-identity wise, it helps us, and it helps us understand our lineage, our ancestors, and that 7th generation principle that we are all a part of in some way. So it's a pleasure to be here and to come and share. I was asked to come and share, and I think today what I want to discuss and go over is who and what we are as Tree of Light, which is our nonprofit Indigenous organization, and the work that we do within that, and share the story, a little bit of the backstory as to how me and my brother Izzy Shenandoah White Eagle Song came to be in this work. And so our mission, just to let everyone know, at Tree of Light, is to bring community together to fortify and in support of the sacred hoop of life, and to help strengthen people's spirits through tradition, education, ceremony, and to help foster civic engagement through Indigenous-based models and values. And so it's been about 10 years since me and my brother Izzy have been on this path. We started about 10 years ago with a medicine man, a few different medicine men that we traveled with. And when we started, it was working with these medicine men to help them share their message, to share their medicine in the world. And over time, we picked up and learned a lot. And being young, a lot younger than once we were, we were more nutritionally in alignment, and we learned the ins and outs of traveling. So we got to help each other out mutually there, and take them around and help set up tours of medicine tours to go and share. And so me and Izzy learned a lot there. And it's been 10 years that we've been living out of a bag and van. And a lot of the focus was to be of service. And as I said, in that mission itself, really to help people within their own compass, within their own spirit, and actually the emphasis around ceremony. I did another podcast last night with a dear brother of mine named Oba, and funny, this is the shirt he gave me. I'm just recognizing, called Universal Soul Wisdom. And on his, we talked a little bit about ceremony and the different forms of ceremony, and why ceremony is important, and how that can impact us in our life. And so this is really the emphasis and the foundation as to how our organization started. And then from there, me and Izzy kept going and sharing. And a lot of people ask us, well, what kind of ceremony? And ceremony is one of those things that people don't fully understand or get. And so they see it as other than, or juju, or they confuse it and they think it's plant medicine. And actually, there's many different forms of ceremony that people can engage with to help them. And typically speaking, Ceremony, simply put, is just a way that we're able to come back to this, into the sacred hoop of life, and give back to creation, to God's source energy, to the mother, father energies, which is very important. And I think, typically speaking, we live in a day and age where people are too caught up in the Western world way of thinking and in the matrix, and overlook their own spiritual sustenance and nurturance there. I always relate it as to, in terms of our physical body, right? We have a physical body. And when we work out our physical body, we feel the repercussions, we feel the change. We feel better with ourselves, and we know that when we're not doing that or taking care of our body, we're not feeling well for ourselves. And so, just like our spiritual body, it's important that we work and exercise our spiritual body every day, because that's what starts first with ourselves, and then that's what trickles into the physicalness of everything else. So if we have a healthy spiritual body, we're more in alignment with God's source energy, life force energy, that is helping to supply and really nurture our physical body. So this is how we've started, as I mentioned, 10 years ago, and then continuing on with different forms of ceremony. One of the ceremonies we like to share is our fire ceremony. We do water. We would typically work with land and elements. We also do what we call a sound ceremony, which in some tradition can be almost related to, like in the plains area, like a uipi, where you create a space and then you do prayers and songs and kind of call in those spirits to help people, however that needs to be within the container there. And we've been doing this for a while, and it's been a magical journey. And like I said, we've been living on donations. So it's, also been a way for me and my brother to be an example of, how to live life and not depend on the matrix, the 9 to 5, and definitely takes a particular type of person. And we've been able to travel all over the world in that regard, not having to pay rent or bills or payments of this and that, has allowed us to do all this traveling, and we've been able to connect all over the world in this way. And so as I move on, our organizational model is in the form of a medicine wheel. And so as I was describing, to you how we started out traveling and really fortifying and learning with our ancestors and where we come from, that's more of that northern component. And now I'm going to come over here to the east, because when we started to travel, the east is the enlightening point, the rising sun, the area of illumination, wisdom, clarity. And so in that eastern component of it, what we have in our organizational model, the top is the ancestral knowledge, as I said, we started. And then over here is been our spirit quests, and it's another part of our organization and what we do there. And so our spirit quests we've been doing for going on now almost 8 years, where we have been taking groups to sacred sites. So when we've been traveling around extensively, as we have this last decade, people were watching and seeing what we're doing, and they were very interested in the possibility of being able to come out, because as we travel, me and Azira is on the back end of these places around the world where we got to know really the people and the village, and more of an intimate connection that way. And so it's been a beautiful way to travel and learn. Traveling has definitely expanded us in the work that we've done, and has brought a lot. I'd say it's been the best form of education and currency in my life, and has been able to build so many amazing, beautiful relationships as well. And so we take groups to sacred sites, and typically we work with the Indigenous of the land, and the Indigenous there are our guides, they're our hosts. They take us to the sacred sites. They share with us in ceremony. And so For instance, this next year, our next spirit quest coming up will be to Peru. And so I have a few brothers out there that are Quechua, that are guides and are ceremonialists. And they, there's so much to explore and see in Peru there. And they take us around and, they go through different forms of purification, aligning us as we go along, this spirit quest. And then also at the end of the year, and in about a year's time, we're hoping maybe to also take a group to the White Lions in South Africa. We work with Mama Linda Tucker, and she runs the White Lion Trust organization. You can Google or look that up. Her story is phenomenal. She has a book out there called White Lions, Children of the Sun God. And she's like our mother out there. And so the White Lion's origin story is very similar philosophically as to the White Buffalo story here in Turtle Island as well. So yeah, I feel grateful that we're able to take people out there to experience those lands. South Africa is one of those areas and places that have a lot of rich history, especially pertaining to the cultivation and the birthing of humanity. And we also we've taken groups to New Zealand. In this last year, we've had a group here in Sedona and the oldest medicine wheel, which is in the Bighorn Mountain Range in Wyoming. And then we've done them in Shasta and down in Chaco Canyon as well. And so all of those places as well, we have some of our Indigenous relatives come and share, take us on the land. And it's a wonderful, beautiful experience to really connect with the land and connect with the people of the land. So I feel grateful that we're able to do this type of work. And then now moving, that's one component. And then on top of that, we're in this building expansion phase. So also in the way of enlightening people's spirits and connecting with people, we're looking to possibly build a program called Indigicore. And so Indigicore, we're hoping, will be a staple for youth and applied groups or individuals that want to come out and help either elders or nonprofit organizations doing the good world work out there. I know in our travels, as we've traveled, a lot of elders have expressed how they want or need help on the land or with their projects. And so we thought this is a good way to build and also reach out to reservations. On the reservations, it can be a hard life. I was raised there for the first 5 years of my life, but also recognized the hardships there and a lot of broken families. Kids come from those places. So really wanting to give back and reach out and, bring those kids along to learn, from these elders that need help. And in return, these elders pass down their wisdom, their knowledge to the youth. So that keeps going as well. So please look out for that. And then we're looking for, eventually in the future, looking for volunteers. So really hoping that comes into alignment for us. And then moving now down to the south in the area of, what we deem as events and awareness. We've been doing a lot of events. We've been traveling, doing a lot of festivals. And within these larger end festivals, we've been able to share or help build with the ancestral villages that are part of these festivals. And we've also thrown our own intimate festivals where it's more educational and helping to really redefine these festivals as a precipice of transformation for us, for people in our life. And so we really bring this educational component in, this work component as working as a group, building on the premise of unity, and also celebrating, right? Dancing and celebrating together. So, and within that as well, we like to talk about the importance of awareness to each of the land, And for instance, right now, I've been helping to get the word out on is in the Nevada Great Basin area. There's 5 mines up for where the government and the state are trying to open 5 lithium mines, and most of which are on some sacred land to the Paiute and the Shoshone out there. So there's Shoshone is a large, and Paiute too as well. Where I was born and raised was on the eastern, more on the eastern side of the Shoshone Shoban, which is Fort Hall area. Even though I'm Haudenosaunee in Washoe, I grew up there and have a lot of family and relatives out there. So once I learned, there's a brother out there doing some good work and awareness, and through World Peace and Prayer Day with Chief Arvel, who we got to work with, which was amazing. We also learned, this was a place for people to come and kind of put out the word. And so being, somewhat local to where I grew up, I also took it upon myself to help spread that word. So we've been also gathering on behalf of the Great Basin that's been doing some work, signatures to help reform this 1872 Mining Act, which unfortunately allows these mining people to come in and unethically extract and take minerals out of the ground. And just the fact that we're still operating on something of this sort is still beyond me. 1872, we should be looking at these acts and things that allow companies to get away with murder on the earth. We should be looking at these every quarter century. So I encourage you to look that up, and I believe there's a signature. Maybe I can put it on a link or something, and share that. But more signatures, more awareness around this, and the more we talk about this, it's important. I know we get wrapped up into our day-to-day lives, but just learning, and a lot of that learning can come from really researching what the local Indigenous in your area is up against, because people aren't really talking about that. And so it's up to us really to come together and really bridge that gap there, because after the colonization process, the tribal people, for most part, not, nowadays it's more people are out and about and getting education, and, it's good to see, in the House of Representatives, there's some natives. And so, but it's taken a century for, a lot of our people to get to this point as well. So I really encourage people to, look up in your area what the Indigenous are up against, or the land simply. And there's a lot, what I've been finding, a lot of amazing organizations spreading the awareness. But they need assistance, they need help, they need signatures. So I always encourage that. And the particular one that I'm helping my brother Josh Dewey with, that's part of the Schurz Res in Nevada, is with Pimaha, and it's a burial ground to their ancestors, and that's where they're wanting to start to dig. And so right now they're in the courts battling this, but with more awareness and more people, you never know who can help or what might be able to come out of that once we put that out there. So yeah, just wanted to share that. And then coming up to the last part, coming in the area of the West, there's the healing and wellness that we do as well. And I found that a lot of healing, a lot of regeneration, a lot of peace and harmony that we've been able to witness has come from doing a lot of ceremonial work and sharing in that regard. But we also have, I also have my own private practice of working with people. And up to this point, it's something that I've kind of put off because I've been in focus with larger aspects like working with groups, these spirit quests, going to these festivals, doing ceremonies in large groups. And so we're hoping around here in the Sedona area to possibly take out people and to have more of an authentic connection and to remind people that it's important to give back to the land. I know Sedona is one of these places that's a good example of how people come and take. And so we want to simply remind people, and in the Indigenous way, wherever we go to out on the land, typically there's an offering, right? There's a giving thanks. In our Haudenosaunee way, we have our Thanksgiving address where, you know, we're giving thanks to all parts and components of creation. And so it's really up for us to give back just as what we receive, you know, on the land. And Sedona is one of these vortex, spiritual centers of sorts that people come and they're looking for healing, they're looking for psychic work, they're looking to go bike on the trails, to go hike. You know, it's really a huge vacation area. And so in that way, you can see where people come and want to take, want to be, and want to take from the land by biking, want to take from the land by, you know, hiking or camping. But, you know, as such sacred sites, it's very important to recognize the spirits, to recognize the energy, and to give an offering of that. Because when we do that, we're more in alignment with the land, we're more in alignment with the spirits. And in that way, we're also, you know, we're also being looked at, because they're on the other side, you know, as being witnessed. It's like, oh, they're coming in a good way, right? Instead of just like, oh, we're just going to shred this trail and, you know, litter or whatever it might be. It's important that we're always giving back. So it's good to remind people of this. So we're hoping to maybe take people out there and, you know, pray, connect in that way, give offerings, and just kind of help remind the people, because this Western world and the way that the direction Turtle Island has gone, you know, what we recognize is that people don't have their culture tradition. And typically speaking, people don't even know their own ancestral lineage. And that is another healing mechanism right there, is when we can really dive into our lineage, who our ancestors were, because that can answer a lot of questions for us. That can resolve a lot of karmic, maybe debt or value that we have with our ancestors, and fortify that connection, because they're always there, and they always want, you know, want to help in the best way possible. And so, you know, it's really up for us to learn about ourselves, our genetic value within our ancestors, our composition, our cosmic cell, these things that really delineate and give us important information as to ourselves and why we're here, you know, on a soul level. Which a lot of people here don't recognize, and being torn or not having a tradition to grow up in, and spiritually speaking as well, can take away from the person, because then they're easily vulnerable and manipulative to think that they just need to be stuck in this matrix Western world way of thinking and grinding all the time. You know, when in tribal context it was important and necessary that, you know, everybody came together and spiritually exercised and enveloped each other with kindness, love, and support in a spiritual way. And so I think that's also, you know, some of the issues and problems in the world right now that's been robbed of us, in, you know, in these lands, because these lands are, prophetically speaking, you know, an altar to the new earth, you know, as some of our elders would say, or what I've recognized as well. And so this is the melting pot, you know, every nation is here and really churning with the evolution with our Earth Mother. So yeah, really important, you know, for these healing ways and how we can do that. And again, to recognize kind of what my own personal practice is. I do, you know, a lot of energy work with people in the drum and song, and helping to move or relieve energy and kind of, you know, hold space for a person, as I was taught through feathers, through stones, and these ways. So I'm just starting to get back into that. And then another form of energy medicine I work with is called stone readings. And stone readings is a divination tool that was passed down from another medicine man that is from his lineage, that was his grandmother passed on, and I think her grandmother passed on to her. So it's a way of reading stones to help somebody align towards their greater purpose or whatever answers they might have. So I've been doing that for about 10 years, and I can see how very helpful that can be. And just divination in itself, you know, there's people that do tea readings or candle readings. Anything about natural and a way to connect and read that can be divinated. So I'm grateful to be able to carry on this tradition to help people in this way. And I only have a few more minutes here, so I wanted to sing a song at the end, and but also wanted to let everyone know that you can find us at Tree of Light tree-of-light.earth, and that's light, like light of the sun, tree-of-light.earth. That is also our Instagram account. And on Facebook, we have a page called Ancestral Medicine Revival. Please bring us there. It's a way that we've been able to cultivate and create a safe space, spiritually speaking, that people can come and share. We've been doing that for 10 years, and I really love that platform that we've been able to create, and people feel safe to share themselves on there, whatever that might be. So yeah, please come follow us there. And I always keep up to date as to everything we got going on there, and then as well on our website. So yeah, thank you for allowing me to come share and let everyone know what we are about. And check us out there, and come on a spirit quest, or get connected with us in some way, and some sort of awareness or in the good work. So this song is a new song. It's from our Washoe tribe, learned from an elder, Uncle Benny, out there on Lake Tahoe, which is the Washoe people's lands. And it's just a way, I feel like it's a hand game playing song, so it really connects like that inner child to that inner child aspect. So hope you enjoy. Honey moo, we know. Honey moo, we know. Ya wanna any yo, we know. Ya wanna any yo, we know. Honey moo, we know. Honey moo, we know. Ya wanna any yo, we know. Ya wanna